Okay. Hello? Are you guys able to hear me? If there's anyone able to hear me, I'm going through technical difficulty. Oh, hi Joe. Yeah, I'm live streaming. Uh can you hear me right now? Okay. Yeah, what's it called? I'm having some fun technical difficulties. Right now, I have exactly 2 streams going apparently. Oh. Hold on. Okay, I don't know what the second no was in regards to. So like what's it? Because the issue right now is that there are 2 streams and I don't know which one you're watching. Okay. Okay, thank you, Joe. um I'm gonna check this second link. Okay, I'll delay is about 3 seconds on chat. Okay, gotcha. I'm going to say on twitter.com that psych technical difficulties. Stream restarted. Join here. Maybe I should just resend the tweet. Yeah, I'm just gonna resend the tweet because usually people don't see comments. Try that again. Zero on stream. With the technical diff. I don't know what to say. And okay. I have like a 2 hour to like an hour and a half time slot out in my schedule, which I like to think that I have. I don't. Uh, it would appear I have 2 timelines. Wait, what do you mean? Because there was an old coloring live stream that I did like a minute ago, which uh OBS just crashed. And how do I like delete that so people don't get confused? Uh um yeah, yeah. Let me figure out how to do that. Okay, contents probably. I'm so incredibly incapable with YouTube. Um, delete forever. Yes, I'm going to delete the video. Okay. Okay. Hopefully that fixed the thing. I did not fix the technical difficulties thing, or what am I talking about? I did not finish spreading my thing around like the virus. I'm just going to edit this streaming link that I sent in Vibrant Descent. Okay. And I should probably throw a link in blue. Okay. Can I move the chat overlay slightly so I can actually see ZPG? Think. I'm assuming it was like. Hello. Uh, Hold on. What way should I move it? Like, I'm adjusting the box on OBS, like you can see, to the right. Like to here. And just like have text appear. Have it in the black space. Okay. That won't be the black space, like, because that's going to happen. But if not, then like by the time I do my next stream, I will actually make a layout and an actual thing instead of Arial font text saying stream starting. Can you tell that this was thrown together very quickly? Because it was. And okay, I see. Actually, there's one more spot I could put it. Okay. Let's see here. Say something in chat. Yeah. Okay. Put that there. Okay, here we go. Remove the JPEG noise. Gaming, yes. Today's theme is gaming for the coloring live stream. Delay is more like 6 seconds now. Okay. I selected like the ultra low latency option in whatever it's called, OBS, and it seemed like it was an experimental thing, so maybe that's gonna come back to bite me. I don't know. Yeah, you know, I'm definitely going to have to get used to it. Yeah, so I guess like the stream would be officially starting now, or well, because I'm starting, so I guess the stream waits for no one. Yes, thank you. I will now do the YouTuber thing. I'm gonna be coloring this, and there is a little bit of explanation to be had, because if you've kept up with like what we've colored in Blazon, it's like, wait, wasn't this one done before? Like, did someone already do this? Like, yeah. Uh, I think that was JJ. And what's it? I've been like commissioned to go through the first, like, well, cumulatively the first 4 volumes, and redo them in my style, or at least in my current style. So I'll also be redoing the ones that I did in the past, because, uh, like, for consistency's sake, right? So that's what I'm doing today. And it's very weird being on stream because, like, when I'm like having a conversation or I'm like doing whatever, and I think to myself, I'd be very good in front of an audience, like, cuz I can just talk. I can run my mouth off for hours. And people tell me for that reason, like, "Oh, Dom, you should stream. You would probably be good at it." So, okay. Uh and then now I go to start streaming. I'm like, "God, what do I talk about?" And I guess, like, when I fall into these moments of like, dear Lord, what do I talk about in any context? Usually it just ends up being this exact scenario where I talk about talking. And yes, that too. Like, it's one thing to tell a story and get a reaction from it. And it's one thing to just like talk to the wall and know that you're not supposed to get a reaction. Then it's one thing to talk to the wall in front of a camera and have a like 6 second delayed chance of getting a reaction. And that is very strange to me, and I'm still getting used to it. Uh, and at the very least, the feedback isn't going to be the same. Uh, yeah, that's conversation. Sean. Yeah, I know. Oh God. Actually, now it's weird because like you send a message and then you have to wait like however many seconds in total for like me to get it. And so by the time I respond to it, like I've just seen it and I'm responding to it as if it was like just sent in like a voice text channel. But like, how do you know that I'm responding to your message unless, well, I guess I could just reread the message to myself out loud, like quietly. I think a lot of streamers do that. That's another thing. I don't watch live streams. Like, I've never been the type of person to watch live streams. I've just been told that I would be very good at them. I mean, I've watched a couple of live streams, but I'm not like the type of person to like join a live stream if I see someone streaming. Uh, because I am very much the type of person to skip through a video. Bad habit, but okay, silhouettes are done. I need to save this. Colorings, ReZero. I'm gonna do volume 3, 2. Which illustration is this? 9? No, not even close to 9. It's 5. Oh, I should record this as a time lapse. Always forget to do that. Okay, now we're recording a time lapse. Clip Studio has a very nice built-in feature to record time lapses. It's kind of just like ride the wave, constantly being unclear whether or not they're paying attention. Okay, yeah. Well, when I first started streaming like ages ago, getting into the habit of reading chat in general I was very very bad at that. I think like I only started getting good at it when I did my Ludum Dare live stream. Oh shit, Ludum Dare's this month. Wait a minute, hold on. I know, like, I just started working on an actual game, and now I'm gonna jam April 23rd to April 26th. Oh shit, should I do it again? Practice my Unity? I really shouldn't spread myself any more thin than I already have in terms of development projects. But yeah, back in last year for Ludum Dare, I did like a 3 or 4 day straight live stream. The only reason that I stopped the stream was I think because the power went out for a minute. And then yeah, so that was pretty intense. Anyways, I should probably explain what I'm doing, right? Because art live stream, sometimes people watch that because they want to see your process. So right now, all I've done is I've taken two completely arbitrary colors that mean absolutely nothing, and I'm just marking out the silhouettes of these characters. I'm going to lock their layers, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to color over that. First, I kind of have to refine this because I just noticed that it kind of flips out. If there's anything I actually do, what do you mean? Oh, okay. I don't know to say, I could see chat. Anyways, if there's anything, or I'd say if there's the only thing that is precise about my art style, it is that I try and keep these silhouettes clean. So that's that. And then I lock these layers. And then I just kind of go ham. Pick colors. Usually I start with skin. And on my other screen, in my absolute smorgasbord mess of windows that I have open, I'll pull up like rem ReZero reference. If you just Google like the character and then the series name, you'll probably find like the reference used in the anime. Or yeah. Yeah. So like you could probably find something like this, assuming it has an anime. Well, it won't look like that because you put it above the line art. So like I have something like that on my other screen, and I'm just using that as a reference to pick color from. Though I also do like to use the light novel one, especially because I'm coloring a light novel illustration. I'm not coloring a light novel. Imagine coloring the entire light novel, just like dumping it in paint. And I just kind of go, and I usually work darks to lights. So like I'll start off like blocking out areas that I know are going to be darker, and then I'll add light on top of that like this. And everything under the line art is going to be a lot darker. That's normal, because of the way I have it set up is I have a multiply layer, right? And so naturally the lights can only be as light as the line art will permit, assuming I don't color over it. So that's what you have to do. You have to color over the line art. Though I wouldn't ever really use a normal blending mode. Usually what I do is I just do an overlay layer, and I kind of just like throw just a tone, like usually just a white, and do that, or like a low opacity glow dodge, and that will like counterbalance. That'll counterbalance how dark the line art can be sometimes. Alright, I'm gonna kind of jump around because I'm having a little bit of trouble getting the skin to look right. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do And I'm starting with like this slate blue. Because if something is a color, and then you put it like in a vacuum, it'll stay that color, right? So like a white thing will be just like gray if it's not fully illuminated. If you're like putting it in a vacuum and there's no environment. Uh Not like a literal vacuum. Like if you were to bring it out into space, you would still get the reflection of the planet. But um so like objects, reflect the environment. The environment is kind of blue because that's the color of the sky. And so things tend to be very blue, whether you think it would be or not. Red things, usually you can shade with blue or purple, stylistically, really. So my rule of thumb is when you make shadows, you go towards the color of the environment, and with lights, you go towards the color of the light. And then there's things like reflections that you can worry about separately. Like for example, if I had a ball sitting on top of even if it was like a red ball, uh, and I had it sitting on top of like a flat plane of grass, then the green of the grass would reflect onto the bottom of the ball. Do you tend to color first and then reshade with lighting, or tend to go straight to the final color? Okay, that does make sense. So back when I first started, my first color first and then reshade with lighting was my first process, and that's what most people do. Uh, that's slower, but ultimately a lot more manageable. And if you make a mistake, there is room for error. You can go back. Um, my current art style basically came out of an experiment of like, what if I just did not do base colors? Because everyone does flats, right? It's like basically common sense. Like the first thing you do is you put down flat base colors that are unlit, right? Uh, then what if I did away with that? And I tried it, and it was difficult, but it turned out to be like blazingly faster uh compared to what I was doing. And so I kind of like got used to it. So I'm a war criminal, yes. I got used to it, and now I'm the fastest colorist in the West. Nah, but like, yeah. So I go directly to the final render. I don't do base colors. Uh, I work from dark to light. I mentioned that before. Basically, like, again, so I know this is gonna like kind of reflect the environment. I know that there's green grass over here in the background. Usually it's helpful to do the backgrounds first, but with light novels, I do that with a gradient map. I'll explain what that is later. Um, yeah, it seems like the two like predominant coloring styles are to like line art to multiply, and then everything below it, people like do flats and then shade either on the same layer as the shading or with multiply layers above the individual colors, and that's nice and organized. It's easy to work with. And then there'll be people who will like select the like don't change the line arts blending mode, um, and like color everything with like color ramps and gradient maps, and just select all the individual colors like that. That works too. And then there's me who's like, nah, I do like everything on like one layer per subject, and people gasp. I'm like, what? Why do you do that to yourself? I'm like, it's faster. I'm just used to it now. So that's that. Like if I were doing this with flats. By the time I would have done the rendering, by the time I would have done the flats in my current style, I would be done with the rendering. What I say? The biggest skill involved. You've leveled up for the sake of coloring. Oh, that's a good question. Give me a minute to think. Well, for one, speed for me is like everything. So, like if a coloring starts to take more than a couple of hours, is like when I'm like, okay, I'll do this tomorrow. And then tomorrow I come back and that's like dreading through it. So, really, speed is a big deal. And knowing hotkeys. I control the computer like a StarCraft player because I kind of play StarCraft every now and then. I've been getting back into it a lot more lately, actually. Like, and by that I mean like, you know, I know the macros for everything, and very rarely will you see me use the pointer to click on something. So that, and yeah, mastery of software. And the other thing that actually really helped me with coloring, surprisingly enough, was studying 3D modeling, which is weird because like that is not coloring. That is a completely different medium of art. But at the end of the day, it's still studying reality, and lighting is done by a computer, so it's like kind of very realistic. But it can still be stylized, so it doesn't have to be like hyper realistic. And that's when I learned about things like subsurface scattering. And what is subsurface scattering? I will explain in a minute. It sounds like something an artist would say, I guess. Yeah, bro, me too. So, what is subsurface scattering? Subsurface scattering is basically the concept of like, okay, so you have skin, right? And there's blood in there. But your skin isn't like an impermeable membrane. Like light will go through your skin, bounce around in the blood, and then come out. So, like for example, in areas where skin is thinner, like have you ever seen light pass through the back of your ears, or like if you ever put your like a flashlight directly on top of your fingers, like, and then the light passes through and your finger turns red. That's because the light is passing through blood, which is tinting the light red, kind of like as if we're passing through a stained glass window. And then it does like that. And I didn't even know that existed. All I knew is that like sometimes when people color, and they like seem to know a thing or two about color theory, like they'll put like red lines around the edges of light before it goes into shadow. And what does that look like? Well, basically like this. You see where there's this boundary between light and shadow here? There would be a line like approximately this color. Yes. I just haven't applied it because I haven't really done the skin. And there would be a line maybe like that. Actually, might be easier if I put it out here. More saturated, and I always wondered like what the hell is this effect, right? This is, I'm doing this very like overly pronounced. This is not how I would normally do it. And apparently that's subsurface scattering. I will properly do that across the painting when I get to doing the skin. And I still need to touch up the hair because I'm not very content on the way this looks right now. And yeah, that's knowledge that I do actually use very frequently. That and like seeing how light interacts at angles, and like when light strikes an angled object and you can see how much it'll illuminate it. That's super handy. And that combined with like studying the planes of the face makes doing things like this just subtle, but like I know that like there is going to be a dip in by her eyebrows, or I guess the top of her eyelid. Like knowing that is a huge deal. I guess half the battle also is in like finding your art style, which takes a very long time, and like learning how to do stylized things, or not learning how to do stylized things. It's like, so like I guess style in like an abstract sense is about like taking what is supposed to be normal, and then distorting it in a way that is maybe not so realistic, but like is interesting, and because it's well executed, it looks good. But you need to know what it should look like and should be drawn like in the first place in order to do style. So like, I think the reason why like a lot of colleges don't like, and art schools don't like you like drawing anime is because anime is super super stylized, right? And if you start off by learning anime and you don't properly learn like human anatomy and how to draw realistic first, you're gonna struggle, because how can you stylize something that you don't know you don't know how to draw realistically in the first place? So that's also something that's important to know. So I'm just kind of brightening this up now. I use the blending brushes a lot. Usually I'm a lot of people use the airbrushes, and I very rarely do. And people, that's another thing that people gasp at me for. Like, you don't use airbrush? I'm like, no. My reasoning for that is because I would much rather put down a harsh tone and then blend out soft, like basically extrude soft edges with a blending brush, than like what was I saying? I just train of thought just like jumped off the rails. I would much rather do that than like use this airbrush, which is very uncontrolled. Like I'll use it for like if I wanted to just like I know I wanted to brighten Rem's hair, then I would use it for like that and just apply like a very global change, like the way I just did there. That's something I'll keep. I like that. But like for a situation like this, I might do something like that, and then this brush is just a lot more controlled, so I prefer it. Do I tend to take liberties when choosing light sources? Sometimes. Like, stylistically speaking, I usually like to add a backlight when there might not be one. At least I did that a lot in Made in Abyss when I used to color it. But I guess maybe not as much as like I think would be noticeable. Like, damn, Dom puts a lot of very strange light sources. No, I don't really do that. If that was what your question was. But I do really like to like work with things that refract light in weird ways, if that makes any sense. Like if there is a glass or if there's a gem, like Amelia has the the crystal around her neck. I always find that so much fun to color, even though it's like a tiny thing and takes a total of 3 seconds to do. There's just something about playing around with light that I find very entertaining. I'm gonna start doing the skin now. So I'm gonna like blend some blues. How many schmeckles would this image alone earn me? So the way I price my commissions, well, previously the way it worked was like this, because I'm like bordering on changing my commission system soon. So like I have there's a background here, which I usually just say, okay, if there's like a background alone, then I'll just like round up to the nearest 5. But like I have like a parameters for like a detailed and a simple subject. A detailed subject is 15. A simple subject is 7. What the hell is the difference between a detailed and a simple subject, I hear you asking? Basically, a detailed subject is like a character that is detailed and fully in frame. So basically like a full character, right? And a simple subject is someone that's fully in frame, but maybe they're in the background, or they're very simple. They don't really have that much of a palette. Or in this case, they're not entirely in frame. So this would be two simple subjects, and a background would be like $15. Or maybe a little more, because the background is like slightly complicated. They're not really, because I'm just gonna like, I'll do the background now, actually get it out of the way. Since the line art is on a multiply layer, you can kind of, this is where I would use an airbrush, right? Ooh, definitely not that. That is way too bright. So do something like this, or at the very least, these are just like rough colors. So I was actually commissioned this illustration. I don't remember what I priced it at, though. It was a while ago. Usually I prefer to keep the backgrounds lighter and less obtrusive. Especially for this one, where the background, I feel like, doesn't really mesh well with the rest of the image. Yeah, it is. There's another technique that I use called a gradient map, which I don't have a good example on here for how to explain it, but basically it will like map values. I'll just show you what a gradient map looks like. So right now this is black and white, but if I set it to this gradient, it will map like where black is here and white is here, the values along this gradient. So you could just like mask out a background. And yeah, when things are out of focus, you can get away with having a background that really looks like this. So the bigger challenge is usually in like just getting the background to look harmonious with the rest of the image. Another thing you can do, which I'm going to do right now, is you can kind of color the line art. So right now this line art is just grayscale, right? And so that means that when I have like these blush spots here, they're going to turn gray, and obviously blushes are not gray. So what you can do is you can color the line art. Oh, first, don't do that. Go on the color layer. And I can color that, and it'll tint the line art. And then obviously I can make this more subtle, which I will. My desktop is giving me advertisements for like Microsoft Meets or something. Yeah, I'll tone that down. Now it's more subtle, but it's not black anymore. Usually I'll actually tint it a bit more towards pink. Actually, we'll leave it where it is. That's a bit too dark. Okay, there we go. Now I think I'm gonna go back and do the same. Okay, thank you. See you, Joe. Thank you for giving me conversation topics for all of this time. Oh boy. I set up coloring book. I set up voice meter banana. Well, I've had voice meter banana for a very long time, but I like actually messed around with like EQing and things today. Like, oh my god, I'm like an audio engineer now or something. And I'm still trying to figure out a way to get rid of like fan background noise. But what you guys, I hope, can't hear right now is I live on a very, very busy avenue, right? And as if there wasn't bad enough that like people are like going 120 miles an hour down the road every like 10 seconds. Uh, like there are a lot of very loud dogs, and I think I've managed with the power of software to silence them. So hopefully that doesn't pick up because they are barking and they are very insistent on being heard. Anyways, I don't have an official palette for what this picnic basket looks like. Quite frankly, I don't even remember the scene. Maybe this wasn't in the anime. Uh, I'm just gonna color it what I think a picnic basket should be colored like. This is the type of thing that I can kind of use flat tones for. There's not really much rendering that needs to happen here. Oh shit, actually. I didn't know you could, what's it called? Noise gate through Streamlabs. Because like I'm using voice meter banana to do it, but yeah, anything extra would be helpful if you could send that uh either here or like in Twitter DMs, or I think my Discord is linked on my Twitter. You could send it to me there. If you wouldn't mind, that would be awesome. I'm very much new to this whole streaming thing. Uh, I didn't really take that much time to set up today's stream, but I plan on streaming like semi-regularly. I don't know how well setting up a schedule would go, but I'd like to try. So yeah, any input and help is ReZero's character designs. Oh yeah, I get you. I used to have like problems with streaming on my old computer, and like, well, I say my old computer, like this one's new. But like, I got it a very long time ago, and when I was at the store, the dude was like walking me around, showing me Google's real regate DLL files, and if the noise gates work the way I got them. Let me just make a note of that. I'm just gonna pull up a notepad for now. Okay. Thank you for the heads up. Yes, but anyway, so when I was walking around the stores, Micro Center, by the way, if anyone knows Micro Center, I don't know if that's like, if there are any Micro Centers besides my local one, but Micro Center's a cool place. And the guy's like walking me around, and he's like, "All right, so within your price range, we got 2 computer builds," and he shows me one that's like kitted out, and it's like got like an Intel i7 in it, and it's like, he's like, "Yeah, if you're gonna be like gaming or whatever, this is like the best in your price range in terms of like raw computing power." And the other one was like, he's like, "This one's a little bit slower, but it does multitasking really well," and he's like, "How many things do you usually have open at a time?" And I'm like, a lot, because I usually have Discord, I usually got Clip open. I was also trying to get into YouTube back then, so I was like, maybe I'll be rendering. And he's like, "Okay, you should get this one." Okay. And so, no regrets. I have a Ryzen in my computer. It is excellent. Especially because, like, now that I'm getting into 3D modeling and I'm rendering things, oh my god, render times are so fucking long. Because, well, it's only really long if you're doing like a simulation or an animation or something. But, oh boy, do they get, like, you could be sitting there for hours. Remember the first time I tried rendering something in Blender? It was like so simple. Just like the Suzanne monkey head. And I was like, I'm just gonna turn it into fluid and make it drop into a bucket. Like, I just wanted to test it, right? No harm in that. Wrong. Blender decides it was gonna take like, I don't remember like how long, but I remember like sitting there for like 30 minutes, and it's like not even close to it. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go get up and do something. And then like I went downstairs and I had like a very long like chat with my parents. And I come back up 3 hours later, and it's still going. It wasn't probably exactly 3 hours later, but I think it was a very, very long amount of time. I had to render it overnight. Animation is on par on how long it takes to draw something. Yeah, that's actually true. I haven't done that much like by hand animation. At least certainly not like drawing animation, because I am a very, very slow drawer. If that makes English words. I don't think it does, but around my PC setup. I have 16 gigs. I don't remember the specific Ryzen that I got in it, but I could check and get you the name if you're curious. Oh, but yeah, so when I first started getting into art, right? My entry to art was the same time I got into programming, like a very long time ago, and that was with pixel art, because I was going for game development. That's what game dev is cool. I want to be a game dev, and I got into pixel art. And unfortunately, I don't really do pixel art anymore now that I'm learning 3D and I'm trying to be a VR developer. Pixel art doesn't really have a place in VR, at least not outside of like incredibly stylized projects that I don't plan on working on. Wow. God damn. Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah, well, I'd imagine. I also need to upgrade my graphics card. I have like a 1070, uh, which is kind of old by now, but or at least in terms of like compared to like people who got like the RTX and the 2080, like the 1080 is like kind of dated, and especially if I'm gonna try being a VR developer, like uh, what's it? Like there's going to be a point where like right now where I stand at like a 1070, I am. Yeah, I get you. I get you. Right now with my current thing, I'm like at the edge of like the headsets. Like I'm at the minimum recommended specs. So that is something that I have. Like I'm gonna when the Deca Gear VR comes out, once the reviews are in and people are saying that it's hopefully gonna live up to what they promised. That's the one I plan to buy. And my problem is that like there's a good chance that I might also have to buy a new graphics card, which means I'm probably also gonna have to buy a new motherboard, and that's gonna cost me a lot of money that I don't have right now because I need to save money for a car, for college and shit. That and I should probably get a decent laptop for college too. Imagine, you know, once I get there, I'm probably gonna want a laptop to take notes because it has been so long since I've written anything by hand. Uh, I know I still can. I'm just so slow writing compared to how fast I type. Granted, I also type fast. I type 100 words per minute. I'm a bourgeoisie elite, top 1% of typists or something. Uh, but we're sort of like the Google rankings typing test. I don't know if it's a Google ranking, but I think like when you take the typing test and you score 100 words per minute, like you are in the 1% of typists. I'm like, wow, I'm elite. That's cool. See, I type really fast, and I guess that I probably write. Oh, damn, nice. Uh, Probably write around like 30 or maybe lower words per minute. I'm a very slow writer. And then when I actually try and write fast to keep up with notes, it's just chicken scratch. Like I remember in 11th grade, I had a fuck ton of very difficult like college level classes, and two of them being US history and environmental like demanded a lot of note taking. And environmental, there were laptops in the room, and I kind of said, "Hey, can I take notes on a laptop?" And my teacher said, "Sure." So I said, "Take notes on the laptop." I was taking notes on the laptop in that class, and I was taking notes by hand in U.S. history, and like my U.S. history notes were like incomplete and illegible, and my notes for the other one, whatever it's called, environmental, were like the cleanest, the most gorgeous notes I've ever taken. Like, never once in my life before that class have I felt confident, like, saying, oh yeah, you can read my notes. Like, these are clean. And I was like giving everyone like, yeah, you can read my notes. They're like basically the verbatim the PowerPoint presentation. Uh, I was like a fucking courtroom transcriptor, whatever it's called. I'm spending a lot of time on this bow. This is unnecessary. Okay. All that good. All right, there's this one here. Okay. I always have a lot of trouble with Rem's hair. Like it's really difficult to nail like the right blue. But then again, I just have trouble with hair in general. Just try and wash over a lot of these bits. Airbrushed over that maybe. Sometimes with hair, and I think that's the problem right now, is that it can look a little too three-dimensional. And then it can look really odd. I think like this is too. I'd have to do something like that. Yeah, I'm just gonna like color pick from the reference art from the novel. Probably my safest bet. Yeah, I was so off. This is what I was talking about before. As in like if you make a mistake with the color, with my art style, which doesn't involve having multiple layers, it's very difficult to go back and change because, like, if the hair were all on a separate layer here, I could just like do a slider and just like shift all the colors, and that would be nice. But now I have obstacles to work around, so. This is looking better, but like feeling mixed. What do I think of the volume 26 illustrations? The ones you did, or just like the volume 26 illustrations in general? Because I haven't seen most of them. I've seen the ones you've been posting. They've been looking good. But right now I'm still anime only. I don't refrain from looking ahead at the illustrations, but I don't really remember a lot of them. In general. Oh wow, you finished the whole volume. How did I not? I thought you had like done a whole volume, but I wasn't sure. Do you want me to put that in releases? Like on the server? Because we can put that there. And we can like bundle it as a proper uh like server release. We check the gallery and flip through. Oh yeah, these look very good. I think the most recent one that you posted uh in gallery is probably my favorite. Just scrolling through. Oh, you just finished today. Um yeah, sure. Okay. What if I just like kept most of this flat? All right, we're getting there. This page is taking a lot more time than I expected it to. I might not be able to finish this within the span of this stream, unfortunately, because it is. Oh, thank you. See ya. But yeah, there's I'm probably going to have to end the stream at around like 7-ish. I wanted to start earlier, but I was having all these like technical difficulties with between getting the audio to work and figuring out how to use Streamlabs. So once I get more like reliable with using the what's it called? Just all of the tools for streaming, and I make a damn thumbnail. Then I'll try and see if I can set up a schedule, because I would like to start streaming more regularly, and there's a lot of things that I could see myself streaming. If anyone's familiar with like the 8-bit drummer, I too am a drummer, and I would like to do something akin to that. Just the setup that I have for recording my drums is like the most ghetto thing I've ever done. I got like all these splitter cables and like all these workarounds to avoid buying an audio interface. And it works. It's just not very high quality. And I would take it a lot more. Well, okay, here's the thing. If I were to take it a lot more seriously, like let's say, like for whatever reason, I got very popular doing drumming streams, then I wouldn't like record electronic drums anymore because I don't really like playing electronic drums anymore. I have an electronic kit and I have an acoustic kit. Just a matter of recording an acoustic kit is a pain in the ass because it's like all the way downstairs and I don't have a laptop. So that's an issue. But, I am moving soon. Where to? I don't know. But I know that we're moving out of here, and that there is a good chance that, if considering that, and if I get like a good laptop for college, which would hopefully be around that time as well, because we're going to be moving around the summer, and semester starts in September. Then I would be able to like get a mic set up and like actually record my drums. Which my acoustic kit doesn't really sound that great either. I'm going to be honest, it's like very old. Like more than halfway as old as I am. And wow, holy shit, I've never put it into perspective like that. But yeah, it's an old kit, and it was a beginner kit when I started playing. So it's not the greatest sounding. I really just like playing it because it feels so much better to play on an acoustic kit than an electronic one. Like so much better. I cannot even describe. I think that's the kind of thing, like if you're a drummer, you know. And then I could do things like record drum covers, which is cool. And it really wouldn't be that much of a strain on me anyways, besides having to edit. Because I mean I already play the drums basically every day to begin with. So it's just like part of my daily routine. So it wouldn't kill me to also have a camera rolling while I play. Hmm. Okay, getting better. I'm gonna go like touch up the skin now because I've been making like one-off stabs at doing that, and I haven't like fully committed to saying, oh yes, it is now time to do the skin. This is where I put the subsurface scattering. Right there. When zoomed in at this level, doesn't really make that much of a difference. But like, if I blend it out a little bit too. Also because it's actually a little too subtle. Now that's more noticeable. Write this down because a bit weird. This whole section is actually looking very weird. This is the thing sometimes when you're working with like a glow dodge layer on top. Can occasionally be a bit of a bastard to work around. Right, cool, reflection time. Tracing to do here. Almost 7. If I work fast, I can finish this before like 7:30. This is gonna be a weird bit because like he's like so incredibly like obscured by shadow. Trying to get the colors right here. Challenge. That Yankee splinky. This is also a good spot to implement subsurface scattering. By the way, subsurface scattering is not just on skin. Like it'll also pass through like cloth and other like similarly translucent substances that you would expect light to be able to pass through. You know, I still have to watch the last episode of ReZero Season 2. I'm so bad with that. Like, for the longest time, I didn't watch the first episode of the last episode of the first season of Doctor Stone. I still have not read. I read the first chapter, and then forgot to read the rest of the last Konosuba novel. I don't know why I'm like this. I need to fix that. Though I guess for the Konosuba novel, I already kind of know what happens. Uh, Konosuba is very fun to color, though. You know, not for nothing. I think I was like about to talk about it before, and then I forgot. Or maybe I already did. But there's something about ReZero's art style and the character designs that it takes significantly longer to color a page of ReZero than it does Konosuba. And I think it's because of things like this, like these lines that you have to trace. Like, for example, imagine coloring Echidna for a moment. Like all those lines that like you have to trace, that takes forever. And what's it? A lot of the characters have things like that, or like this bow, which is thin, so I have to zoom in to take a thinner brush, and like it takes a lot more care. Whereas like the character designs in Konosuba are a lot simpler, uh, which isn't a bad thing. Simple is very good sometimes, and I think that's especially the case for Konosuba. I just wish the little neck piece that Kazuma wears would be consistent and not different in every single illustration. Uh, that can be a pain. But yeah, that's that. Yeah, I did almost forget to color this before. This needs to be rendered. These bits here. There's a little interesting tidbit, I guess. Hmm. I also need to get background music on this stream. And for as much as like sensible people tell me like, oh, you should like just get a royalty-free backing track. Brain's like, nah, I must compose something. I must make my own thing. And yeah, maybe I may do the music, but oh boy, do I not do the music composition. That is a completely separate skill, or so I have learned. Like I know theory. At least I know some theory. To clarify, I'm not like I've never taken a class in music theory, but I've taught myself online via like YouTube people like Adam Neely and other random people who came up first in Google search, among similar things. So I like taught myself music theory and I like understand the basics. I understand about chord structures, scales and shit. But definitely not a composer yet. Really pull up reference for this outfit that Subaru is wearing because I don't remember what it looks like off the top of my head. I don't know if I got this brown right. Let's see, Subaru ReZero Butler. What word it is. Okay, it is more towards red. Oh boy. Starting to hiccup. Apparently this is navy. I thought this was a much brighter blue. This little that he's wearing on his neck. I don't know what to call this because this is not a bow tie. That's the best word I have though. So I'll call it a bow tie for now until I get something better. Oh wait, I got Pung over in Emblazon. Oh my god, I didn't realize, JJ, that you were talking in general chat. Talking about music theory. I think I might have watched that video. Is it the one that talks about the Dies Irae and Hymn of Despair and Atonement? Yeah, I've seen that one. That's a good one. That's a little bit muddy, but we'll go with it for now. Wait a minute. So JJ, how long have you been here that I have just not seen you typing? Oh my god. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Yeah, that works. Especially because it's a lot more like by shadow. That's another thing I learned because Joe was asking about tips before, and like what was instrumental in me being able to color quickly. Um, I think the most important thing I could have learned for saving time, like my biggest time skip ever, was something from a Proco video about coloring the planes of the face. And uh dude, it wasn't Proco talking, it was a different guy. And he said something along the lines of like, you know, shadows are where the least light where the least light is. And so it draws the eyes to it less. You should focus your attention on the brighter areas of the face because the eyes are receptive to light. So in other words, shadows are out of focus. Like, do not invest your time in there because people will be looking towards the light anyways. Like, it's actually natural for shadows to be kind of obscured. Uh, and I was like, yeah, I know, right? That's exactly what I said. I was like, oh my god, Clip Studio Paint just went not responding. I'm not sure if that picked up on stream. Yeah, I know. I had the exact same reaction. I was like, "Holy shit, that makes so much sense." So like when things are like all mixed up and like meshed around in like a shaded area, instead of like going crazy trying to like work it out, like I don't need to make his eye colored normal there. It's not gonna make a difference. I'll just skip over that. Bam, saved like 30 seconds. Probably less. You know what? Time skip is a time skip. Yep. Okay. This is actually going to be done on time. I was also requested to add all of my Shield Hero illustrations to it. I think I'm just going to like update my Pixiv with everything. I think Pixiv is also good image quality. Okay. Hmm. Okay, now I'm gonna do the background of this. It's like almost a wrap. Okay. Like navigating around Discord for a second. Yo. This grass is gonna be really weird because I feel very bashful about adding color. Like my brain tells me like, ah, oh, just keep everything very desaturated, don't add color. And well, this isn't a black and white environment, so trying to figure out how to add color and make it look natural. That is proving surprisingly difficult for my pea brain to comprehend. I'll do that. This is the part I'm really nervous about, is coloring in these leaves. Like, it's out of focus, so I don't need to worry too much about, like, precision, but oh boy, are trees very hard to get right when they're in the background like this. It's gotta be, like, just right. Wait a minute, what time of day is it supposed to be? I didn't pull up the anime as a reference, fuck. Is this supposed to be like sunset? Or nighttime? Let me just recheck. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna not go forward. Let me know. Stretch. I don't know if my mic picks me up stretching out. I'll also try and look around the right episode. I mean that this scene was in the anime because I don't remember it. I literally just pulled that up before on my screen as you sent that. Oh my god. Also, yeah, holy shit. I have gotten all of these colors so dramatically wrong. And yeah, that is the right scene. And my dinner's ready. Oh, fuck. I just got the call. Hold on, let me see how quickly I can like speed through changing this. Let me like actually like blitz mode. Oh dear, that looks awful. I'd have to do that manually, but like let me like yeah, I always thought it like was at a different time of day, but I think I'd seen it colored at like an like a what's it? Like just midday. And so I was like, ah, okay, that must be right. And fuck. Here we are. This is bad though. I have to redo all of the ambient light on the characters. And this is probably. Oh wow, that was a long time ago. Damn, your art style has improved so much. Not for nothing. Yeah, no, for sure. Just like that's looking a bit more natural. Speed mode right now. Yeah, I really am speed right now. It's gonna look so weird in the time lapse. Like it's going, it's going, it's going. Oh fuck, go back, and it's all just gonna like instantly change. And just save this really quick. Yeah, no, I have to like Jesus Christ almighty, how am I going to do this? This is where the airbrush is important. Finally, a use for the airbrush. Or so I say. Here, orangish here. There's like all that shit that I was saying about like, yes, and I'm going to shift it towards blue because that is the color of the environment. The environment is not blue anymore. The sky is very orange. I have to blend that into the scene now. Whew. No way this happens before dinner. Very least, let me get like some of the major spots. Also, holy shit, thank you. Good catch. Oh my god, it would have been absolutely disastrous if I called this a finished piece. Maybe not disastrous, but it sure would have been a little embarrassing. I'm being commissioned for this. No, no, don't feel bad. Sunlight incoming is a lot. Fuck, wait a minute. If everything is just more orange, then what if I just did a 3000 IQ mode and just color corrected these layers separately before the rest of the image? Genius. Okay, that's a crude fix, but it works. I also need to apply something similar above everything else. That's way too intense. Yeah. I cannot believe that that worked. Okay. This needs to go away. This needs to go away. This needs to go away. Go away. This whole damn thing can be more red. And I just gotta refine the colors on the background and then I'm done. I don't know if my mic picks up my typing. Yeah, it's just finding my mother. She is waiting. So I'm just gonna like. Okay. Now I really feel like I'm playing StarCraft. Okay, it doesn't pick up the typing. Oh boy. Clip was not responding again for a second while I was saving. It does that to scare me sometimes. That's the only reason it does it. Just to scare me. I'm just gonna like totally blend the trees into the background there. The tones are there, that's what matters. One thing I have to correct here, and then it's done. And I'll post it onto twitter.com and everywhere else later. Fixed. Crisis averted. Okay. Actually, I may as well save it now. Signed version for Twitter. I'll end the stream here. Thank you for sticking with me the whole time. Ta-ta.